We'll just get started here and people can join in as they please. So, the reason that we're talking about whole house water filters is because we've had a lot of first-time home buyers. As everyone knows, the housing market is crazy right now, and a lot of people are buying homes in rural areas where they, suspect that there might be some sort of groundwater, drinking water problem, or they're just not familiar with the municipal water system. So they're reaching out to our support team and asking for a little bit of guidance on what type of water filter they might need. And it's kind of the common misconception that everyone would want a whole house water filter, or whole house water filters are the best option if you just want to filter all of the water coming into your house. So we're going to kind of talk about why people go for a whole house water filter, and then some of the reasons why it's just not the best option for everyone. So, what is a whole house water filter? Kind of self-explanatory, but as the name suggests, whole house water filters are installed at your home's main water supply. So they filter all of the water that comes into your house, including the water that's being flushed down the toilet. So, they are typically located wherever your water comes in from the public supply or from your private well, and it's usually located in the basement or wherever that line might be in your home. So, because it filters all of the water coming into your house, people often believe, oh, it's just the easiest, it just takes care of it at the whole house level, it filters everything coming in, I don't have to worry about it. And that's not necessarily the case more often than not. So we're just kind of going to go through some of the warnings that we tell people who are asking about whole house water filters, and why they might not be the right choice for you. So the first is cost. People typically have absolutely no clue what they're getting into when they purchase a whole house water filter. They might go to a big box store, find a filter for a reasonable price, and then not realize all of the maintenance costs associated with whole house water filters, as well as replacement filters and installation, etc. So you actually can get a whole house filter for as cheap as $100. But they also range up to as high as like $10,000, if not higher. And so you'll definitely want to hire a licensed plumber to install your whole house water filter, just because you're dealing with your main water line. And so if you were to mess that up or do something incorrectly, you could be in trouble for sure and not have running water for some time. So you'll definitely want to hire a plumber, which then of course increases the overall cost of the system that you just purchased. So the next kind of downside is just overall efficiency, because you're filtering all of the water. So I'll get into that in a second, but whole house filters are actually unbelievably inefficient, because they filter all incoming water, as I said earlier, even the stuff that's being flushed down the toilet or down the drain. And I believe the statistic is something like 90% of the water used on a daily basis gets flushed down a drain. So that's 90% of water that's being wasted that you've just filtered with your expensive whole house filter. 90% of that is essentially being wasted. And so that whole house filter is working so much harder than it needs to be. So, this results in the filter's lifetime being extremely short, which means that you'll have to purchase replacement filters more often than you would with, let's say, point of use, or a different type of water filter. So kind of the difference between the whole house where you're filtering everything, 90% is being wasted. A point of use filter only filters what you need when you need it. So that's drinking water. When you turn on the cold water line, you're just filtering the water that you need to drink a glass or make coffee with, and then same with a shower. So you're just using the water to shower instead of it all being wasted and flushed down the drain. So then we get into chemical removal. So this is one of the main reasons that somebody buys a water filter. It's because they want to get rid of the chemicals and contaminants that might be present in your drinking water. It's either chemical removal or taste. It's one of the either why people come to us at Hydroviv and ask these types of questions. So in terms of whole house filters and chemical removal, it's very much one of those you get what you pay for types of situations. So I mentioned earlier that you can, of course, buy a whole house filter for $100. And you're really getting a very, very minimal amount of removal. They might reduce chlorine a little bit, which could, of course, improve taste, but they're not doing heavy lifting on chemicals that can cause cancer. And so even the more expensive ones are just simply not designed to remove contaminants at the levels that are present in drinking water. And this is because the overall flow rate of water coming in from the main system is just extremely fast. And so there's really not enough contact time with that media to remove contaminants like PFAS, arsenic, lead, chromium-6, all of the things that we know are extremely harmful to humans. So the biggest exception to this is whole house reverse osmosis. So at Hydroviv, there's no hiding it, we're a water filtration company, and we give a lot of credit to reverse osmosis water filters because they do a really, really good job at removing contaminants. So we have to credit them with that just because we also really care about water quality. So reverse osmosis whole house filters are kind of the exception to this. They actually do a really, really good job at removing contaminants at the whole house level. Of course, super expensive. There are a bunch of other downsides to reverse osmosis water filters that we've actually talked about in a previous Instagram live, so go check that out when you're done with this. But yeah, so in short, you want to make sure that if you have decided that whole house is the best option for you, you want to make sure that that company has credible data showing that they're actually doing chemical removal and that they're not just improving taste. You want to make sure that they have third-party test data, that they're certified by some external body that can tell you what you're getting when you spend money on this whole house system. So I also wanted to bring up a study that was completed in 2020, so last year, by Duke and NC State universities. And this is a study that we reference all the time just because it was such a broad study over multiple different types of water filters. So it's really the best way that we can present data in a really unbiased way about the different types of water filters, which is exactly what we're talking about today. And so, oh, yay. Someone just commented, we love Hydroviv, we live on a well pump system and it's so nice to be able to drink water from our kitchen sink. Yay, love it. Anyways, okay, so this study by Duke and NC State tested different types of water filters. So they tested under sink, and we were part of the study. We had no affiliation with Duke or NC State, but they tested our water filters at Hydroviv. So under sink, whole house, pitcher filters, sink filters, let's see, refrigerator filters. They did it all. And the conditions of the testing were samples in North Carolina where PFAS is a known problem. So and North Carolina has some of the highest levels. So we genuinely feel like this is a really good representation of how these filters performed. And so the whole house filters in this study, sorry, there's a helicopter. The whole house filters in this study performed very poorly. And we were actually a little bit surprised by this because these brands tested by Duke and NC State are extremely reputable. We, give a lot of credit to them because they really are trying to improve water quality. And so when we saw these final results, we were absolutely surprised because of how poorly these brands performed. And I won't name names, but if you want to check out the article, it's on our blog, and you just have to type Duke water filter study or whatever into our search bar at hydroviv.com. And so, yeah, in summary here, kind of, this study highlights the importance of having a water filter that has reputable test data. So definitely check out this study. See what type of water filter you have or you're thinking about buying, and see how it stacks up with some of the other brands on the market. Because PFAS, again, we've talked about it a bunch on previous Instagram Lives, is an extremely harmful contaminant, and not all water filters remove it. So definitely something to check out. All right, so that is it for this spiel on whole house water filters. I hope this was helpful for people that are buying a new home or looking for a water filter, whatever it might be. There's a lot of information on the internet, so we just wanted to be a credible voice and let everyone know some of these downsides of whole house water filters. So as always, you can DM us, Hydroviv_H2O. You can send us an email at hello@hydroviv.com. And then we also have a live chat feature at hydroviv.com where you can talk to someone on our science team and ask more in-depth questions about whole house water filters. So have a great rest of your week, and we'll see everyone next week. I'm hoping that we'll have a special guest to talk about some recent water quality issues that are going on in the western parts of the United States. So have a good one, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining.